Alright, what's up, y'all? We're back again, and of course, we're gonna go into some wrestling shit now. I mean, how can I not at this point? There's definitely been an awful lot going on, but this one we definitely gotta get into, as we've actually talked about this in the past. Y'all remember Odyssey Jones, right? Oh, man. This right here, we actually have, I guess, what could be considered full details, or at least fuller details, as to what happened that led to his release from WWE. And oh man, this to me just really tripped me out when I got all the details, or at least the details that have been revealed to this point. Oh boy, I gotta tell you, this one's a doozy. Of course, as it was documented before, he was released as a result of domestic violence issues, which, you know, at the time details weren't necessarily clear or even revealed at that point. It was just, we weren't seeing this dude on WWE TV anymore, and everything with him in the New Day was legitimately scrapped from there. And of course, it left a lot of people wondering why, myself included. And of course, again, domestic violence. It turns out that his ex was just, whoo, man. This one's really tricky to talk about the more I think about it, especially given that, admittedly, I myself have had a situation with domestic violence in my past, which, you know, I'm more comfortable with talking about it now. I'm not going to go into any details about that right now because that's not important. But what I will say is, you know, it doesn't matter whether you've gone through it or not. It's just a really uncomfortable thing to talk about, no matter how you slice it up. And that's just reality. That being said, it's just really crazy to me because I think what's really messed up about this is the fact that, you know, black man, especially large black man, you kind of tend to figure fingers are going to be pointed towards him, which it honestly seemed like that was the case for a time. Fortunately, now it seems as though that's completely far from the case, and I couldn't be more relieved, believe me when I tell you that. But to me, it's just unfortunate that his wrestling career has had to suffer as a result of it, and really just any career that he should have in general. All in that same vein, it's just why, and this is something that I've had to learn the hard way, you know, you just gotta be careful of the company that you keep in the long run. And I say that specifically for the fact I've mentioned before. I find it funny because in my most recent video, of course, a sports video, which I encourage y'all to check out. I know the numbers are better for my wrestling videos, but check out my sports videos. I'm good. I can't say that enough. But anyway, in all seriousness, I was talking in my other video about the AEW show in at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Geez, say that 3 times fast. But anyways, that show that they did there, specifically referencing the match between Brody King and Will Ospreay. I gotta make a sports reference here, specifically in the case of one Stephen A. Smith, where I remember an episode of First Take that I was watching, and he told this story, and I'm paraphrasing this. There was a pro athlete, a pretty big name, and of course he didn't say that name specifically, just out of respect for said individual. But what wound up happening was that this individual had a friend and or relative who actually was a questionable character of individual. And what wound up happening is he wound up meeting with said individual, and I think it was after something had went down. I don't remember those details. But either way, he wound up meeting with said individual some random place. I don't remember where. But either way, had a briefcase with him full of money. I don't remember what the amount was, but of course, obviously that doesn't matter, and that's none of our business anyway. But he wound up giving this person the money, shook his hand, and basically said, this is where we have to say our goodbyes to one another. And I say that for the fact that, as heavy as that is, it's understandable. You just can't have this shit weighing you down, and I really wish I'd have learned that lesson a long time ago and just applied that a lot better. But hopefully this will be the case for Odyssey Jones, as he is taking bookings in for I guess the independent scene, or whoever he can get with, obviously. And I just can only wish the best to him. And I didn't mean to spend as much time with that as I did, but we'll go ahead and move along real quick. And we actually got to talk about Bad Bunny, who actually did an interview with the Rolling Stone recently and talked about being a part of the Happy Gilmore 2 cast, his new album, and apparently also wanted to talk about his time with WWE, and seemingly leaks the location for Backlash, which wound up actually being refuted specifically by WWE, which initially the rumor was that Backlash was going to be taking place in Mexico, and I gotta imagine if that would have been the case, damn, because just given the way that San Juan was lit, and a lot of people talk about Lyons, France, and I definitely respect Lyons, but there wasn't an environment anything like San Juan. I'm telling you, especially when this dude was getting his entrance, I told a co-worker, man, I'm telling you, it was as if I was at a San Juan house party, and I stick by that to this day. But yeah, it was just real interesting, because a lot of people were thinking this could have been the case, and you know, far be it for me to say they would have been wrong for that. But nonetheless, the important thing is I think international PLEs have definitely been really good. I know I've had my feelings about the Saudi PLEs. I'm not changing my stance on that, especially because now we've got the Royal Rumble coming to, I think it was Riyadh. Anyway, all I'm going to say about this is that it's just really interesting how this got out there, but even more so the fact that it was just quickly squashed, or just as quickly squashed. I mean, really wild to see, but hey, I mean, I don't think this is any indication that we've seen the last of Bad Bunny in WWE. I'm sure we'll see him again, but it was just really wild that this got out there the way it did, and the fact that it got, you know, killed the way that it did. But it is what it is on that one, and with that, we're going to go ahead and finish this off real quick with some really interesting news. More WWE, AEW head-to-head. Man, this one's really wild, as it turns out now we have 2 dates, or at least 2 potential dates revealed for future Saturday Night's main events, which are, I believe, the first one is going to be May 24th. We've obviously got the one coming up here at the end of the month, the 25th specifically. Now we got one specifically on the weekend of May 24th, which is Memorial Day weekend. And of course, a lot of people are actually anticipating that that's going to be the same weekend we get Double or Nothing. That being said, of course, another date in question, or at least that has been, excuse me, easy for me to say, another date that has also been revealed, interestingly enough, is July 12th. That's the night of AEW's All In Texas. So now, you want to go head to head with the big boys? I mean, really the only other thing I'm going to say about this is that it's really not surprising. You know, I could talk all day about the whole thing with, You know, again, you want to mess with the big boys, this is what you get. I really don't even give a shit about that. All I can say is that at this point, really, especially when it comes to AEW, specifically Tony Khan, I think there needs to be a bit more of a minding of P's and Q's here. And I say that specifically because it actually works on a couple of different levels. One, we've already, speaking of supposedly leaked information, we've actually got leaked merch for Penta now, which he's actually debuting here in the next 37 minutes or so. Well, at least at some point when Raw airs on Netflix in the next 37 minutes or so. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that you have this situation with Penta. Of course, we're waiting to find out what happens with Rey Fenix. As I was just saying, Tony Khan, you gotta mind your P's and Q's now, because not only with how you're going about shit in terms of how you go at WWE, but now you need to be mindful about how you're going about things with your talent, whether it's their contracts, booking decisions, whatever the case may be. It really doesn't even matter, but now has come time for you to really straighten up, and that's not to say that you haven't gotten better from there, because that certainly has been the case. I mean, the most recent episode of AEW was damn good, and I feel like, excuse me, you know what?